Okay, we're ready. Hello guys, I'm Saintvicious, and I'm going to be doing the patch 8.4 notes rundown. It's a very big patch because it's the mid-season patch, so this one's going to take a while. Alright, I've glanced through these notes, but I haven't like read them in depth, so some of these could be a little like not 100% accurate, but for the most part I'm going to just give my general first glance opinion on a lot of these changes. So alright, first thing we got, Lost Chapter now is cost 1100 gold and now gets 10% CDR. So this looks good because it gives 10% CDR. However, a lot of mid laners generally tend to get Lost Chapter as their first item, or one of their first items to help their laning phase and getting mana back, because, you know, it gets so much mana when you level up and all that junk. So it's going to be a better mid-game item. However, this could actually be a nerf to a lot of mages' laning phases. You know, this is 200 more gold you have to get on your first buy, where a mage might be sitting on like a mana crystal and an amp tome instead of what before he would have like a Lost Chapter. So this is actually, in my opinion, a nerf to this item, just because of the way that the item is purchased. But it's a buff in the mid and late game. Luden's Echo now gives 500 mana, no more movement speed, 10 less ability power, and gives CDR and the haste thing. Well, I don't know, man. Luden's Echo has never made sense to me, because every time I see Luden's Echo as an item, I'm just sitting there looking at it, I'm like, man, you know what would be better than this Luden's Echo? A fucking Death Cap. I would much rather have Death Cap here, like, every time, dude. Like, this item is only 300 gold cheaper than a Death Cap. So, I mean, maybe if you need mana in your build, I could see this being good, but I don't know, dude. This is like the new Morellos, I guess. Yeah, this is actually confusing to me. Is this 20% CDR? Because it says 10% CDR and 20. If this is 20% CDR, then I understand where this item falls in, because it's like, it's like a Marillanomicon. Like, that can make sense to me, but if this is only 10% CDR, then I'd rather go Death Cap every time. But it doesn't stack? Oh, it is 20% CDR. Okay, never mind then. I'm an idiot. Okay, well, if it's 20% CDR, then this item will take the place of Marillanomicon. In a sense, kind of. I don't know. This is weird. But if not, then I'll just rather go Death Cap. That's, like, very poorly worded. Like, this is so confusing. Like, good job, Riot. Hextech GLP. So they took away the health. Damn, Riot's really all about the mana nowadays. It's crazy. This item gains an additional 10% CDR. So the maze is the same thing where it gives, like, 20%. I guess, like, everything is just Marillanomicon nowadays. They just want CDR out the ass on the mages. Like, that's their goal with this patch. Frostbolt now only damages and slows first unit hit per missile. It's now 1 second. Frostbolt cone narrowed by 10 degrees. Frostbolt cone range increased by 200. Frostbolt slow percent is 40%. I don't know, man. The Frostbolt thing is cool and all, but like, the whole reason that people built Hextech before is that they needed health. I mean, the slow is nice, but I don't know. It's just a weird item to get, I guess. Like, basically you're making a choice between these two items, whether you want some more poke and explosion, or you want like an extra catching slow or something like that. I'm not really sure who you would build Hextech on. Like, before, people build Hextech on Aurelion Soul, but because, you know, you needed health in your build. But now it's like, I don't know, would you even build this item on Aurelion Soul anymore? I don't think you'd build this item on Aurelion Soul anymore, would you? Maybe and you just get a different health item or something. I'm on the fence about this item. This one's a little odd to me. Archangel Staff, I guess it has a 20% CDR as well. Costs 3,200 gold, and the ability power is 50. 650 mana. That's so much mana, dude. And grants an addition. Wait, mana charge passive still grants it to. Wait, that's an insane amount of mana, dude. This item gives a bonkers amount of mana. But it gives less ability power, so it evens out, I guess. Dude, Riot's just like, mana for everybody. Everybody gets mana. We're going mana for days. That's like Riot's new thing now. Is mana and CDR for everybody. I don't know. This is an odd item to me. Maybe stacking this with other items, it could be good, but we'll see how it goes. I don't know. That's a lot of mana, dude. That's a lot of mana. Leandri's Torment now kind of like is not the bursting flat pen item anymore because they removed the flat pen from it, and now it's like a damage over time item, which you get ramping 10% damage. I'm trying to think about like what mage I would want to go this on. Maybe like a Swain or something, or like any of those like melee bruiser type mages. Maybe like a Mordekaiser or something. I don't know. I'd have to like think about mages that stay in combat for that long to actually get that full percent increase on it. That seems kind of odd to me. Yeah, I guess Malzahar. Yeah, Malzahar, you would still get it on Malzahar, I guess. So any of those mages that kind of like have DOTs and like stay in the fight. Vladimir, yeah, I could see it on Vladimir. Anything that just needs health, like any of those bruiser mages, I could see this being an okay item on. It seems decent. And then kind of this is the same thing, just doesn't have flat pen anymore, but has more ability power. So if you need health, I could see it. I could see this still being good. And then here's Marillanomicon. Now they move the flat pen onto the Marillanomicon. It costs 3,000 gold because it builds up the Oblivion Orb. So Oblivion Orb is what the old Hunting Guise was, and then this is now the what it builds into, what like the Leandries would have been before. So now magic damage dealt to champions inflicts them with grievous wounds. I mean, that's still pretty much the same thing as it had before. So this is like the grievous wounds flat pen item. I mean, you're still gonna like go this on like champions that scale really heavily off a pen, but it actually does it give CDR still? Wow, it doesn't give CDR anymore. That's odd. I don't know how much I like that, man. I guess if you need grievous wounds, you go that. So I guess Marillanomicon used to be like the bread and butter. Like you go this on every single mage in the entire game, just because it's like the best thing ever. It gives 20% CDR and it gives grievous wounds and it gives like 1 billion mana. But now like there's just more options on what you can do, and like this is I guess just gonna be kind of built on like some of like the bursty mages or whatever that are trying to like prevent you from healing and all that nonsense. So. Then also like the new thing on the grievous wounds is they don't have to be below 35% health anymore. So you just immediately apply grievous wounds right off the bat. So this is like a much more improved grievous wounds than was in the item before. So that's like the main purpose of it, is to like fuck up healers. This is just like Haunting Guise pretty much. And then Spellbinder, nearby allies and enemies spellcast charge Spellbinder up to a cap of 100. Unique active, gain a maximum of 30% decaying movement speed and 100 ability power for 4 seconds based on charges spent. So I guess this would be like used on mages that like run people down, but I'm not really sure. What would that be, like a rise or something? But I don't know how that would fit into the build. I mean, that's a lot of movement speed. I'm sure this is on Twisted Fate. I bet you this is like really beast on Twisted Fate. Now that I think about it, this is like a Twisted Fate item or some shit like that, or even like a Vlad. I could see this on Vlad too. Like anything that needs to get up in the back line or like pick people off would be really good. Twin Shadows. I actually like that they put Twin Shadows back in the game. I used to love this item. I mean, it's actually severely underrated as an item because it gives CDR, movement speed, ability power. Like this was actually a great item on TF before, or like even Sonas and shit like that. Because like it gives you a 40% slow on 2 targets for 5 seconds. Like that's a really good active for running people down, and it allows you to scout out vision in areas. So I'm glad that they brought the Spooky Ghost back, and it's like an even more improved version for the last one. So it's good that this is here. This is actually really good. And then we got Void Staff. Void Staff is 10 less ability power. Still whatever. I didn't really make a big deal. Like Void Staff's still good. Rabadon's Death Cap now costs 200 less gold and gives 5% more ability power. So Rabadon's Death Cap is like beast mode now. Like when you get this, you're just gonna be dumping on people. Now Rylai's gives 10 more ability power. That's nice. Like that's good for like. I'm probably gonna go Rylai's on Fiddlesticks and stuff like that. To be honest, like I think it's a decent item now. I mean, it's pretty cheap for like that much ability power, but it doesn't give like that many. Like it doesn't get that much health or like other stats. So I like the Rylai's change on this. It's like decent, and that's pretty much it for the item changes. And now like I think another mid-season thing they're targeting a lot is top laners, because top laners are pretty much all Gangplank, Camille, all this other random bullshit. So I'm surprised that Camille didn't get nerfed. I'm actually extremely surprised that Camille didn't get nerfed in this patch. And I think Camille is probably the strongest top laner in the game on this new patch, depending on how well Renekton deals with her. But I think that Camille is just going to be perma-ban status after this. Darius got a minor buff where he has 2-second lower cooldown on his W. And 20% total attack damage increase on his W as well, which is okay. Like, that's a decent buff. Like, not bad at all. And then Apprehend now gives 5% more armor pen. Doesn't really do... I mean, Darius is still the same champion. It's like, if you let Darius sit there and hit you, you're going to die. But chances are the jungler's, like, sitting in the bush level 3 and just kills your dumbass, because that's what happens to Darius every single time. Like, Darius is, like, the easiest person to catch and kill in, like, the entire game, so... that's why people don't play Darius. These don't really help his problems, but he still fits, like, the same kind of role of, like, just being an idiot that just sits in lane obnoxiously, and you need to gank him, that kind of stuff. Gangplank got his parley nerf by 20 mana. That's actually a pretty significant nerf on the level 1. And then Powder Cake no longer... This is my biggest thing for Gangplank. Powder Cake Barrel no longer grants vision of other units. A lot of Gangplanks will put a Powder Cake in a bush in the top lane, and it makes that top lane gank really hard to do. And, like, you can also scout bushes with it and stuff. So, just, like, Gangplank is super safe top laner. And, like, no, he won't be able to, like, set barrels up anymore in the bushes and, like, prevent ganks and things like that. And also, like, his barrels don't last that long anymore. So, I'm, like, super glad that they nerfed the Gangplank barrels. Like, good riddance to Gangplank, dude. Gangplank is such a stupid champion. Like, he's so broken right now in this current patch. So, it's good that they nerfed him in that way. Boomerang Throw got its cooldown reduction nerfed when you throw it out and then catch it again. You know, it used to, like, refund a lot of the cooldown. Now it's just 40% at all levels instead of having this on top of it. So that's a pretty substantial nerf to post level 6 Gnar. And then they're like, wow, we'll just make it even better we're going to add 30 damage to Hop at lower ranks. Excellent. When you get those Hop kills, dude. You got to get those Hop kills. Yeah. Now we have also Oran nerfs. I mean, Oran is also incredibly broken. These are actually pretty big nerfs to Oran, I think. They made Bellows have a much longer cooldown in the earlier rank, and 2% less damage on the W at pretty much all ranks. And then the shield lasts a second longer, big whoop. It's super easy to break that shield. And the brittle's also lower, so that's a massive nerf to W. And then E also pretty much lost, like, another, 80 potential damage that it could have. Like, that's actually... And the damage ratio that went down as well. So, like, they just, like, gutted Oran. I think they're going down the route for Oran where they don't want him doing damage. And Oran's just going to end up becoming another Maokai where you can never kill anybody in lane by yourself and you don't do that much damage. And you're just, like, a CC bot. Like, they're pretty much just, like, turning Oran into the next Maokai. And it's going to be like, why would I play Oran instead of Maokai at this point is what it's starting to turn into. So... Ripperino Oran, you had your time. It was good while it lasted. Poppy, they gave him, or her, okay, I'm not assuming the gender though, a whopping 10 damage in the early ranks of the passive. Wowza. Poppy's broken now. Not really. And then the E has another whopping 10 damage. Good job, Riot. You know your champion's issues. Good job. Renekton now has also a 20 damage increase on the Q when it's not on Fury, and another 25 damage when it is empowered. Actually, this is a really nice buff to Renekton, and I think Renekton will start to be seen a little bit more just because of this buff. Like, I actually think this is like a decent buff. I like this buff. I always liked Renekton. He's like a simple champion. Great autofill top laner or some shit, so... I think you'll see Renekton a little bit more after this. And this is the Hishinshin buff. Fix the bug where Counter Strike's buff could take up to 0.25 seconds to take effect. Good job, Hishinshin. You've saved top lane. Excellent. You're the hero we needed, but not the one we deserved. Frozen Mallet now does 10% less slow, so that's another Gnar nerf. That's also an Urgot nerf. Not that many people built Mallet in the first place, so... Whatever. I guess Shyvana. I don't know. That's only for range, actually. So this is like an Urgot Gnar nerf. It's like, whatever. Who cares? They buffed Evelynn by 15 damage on her E to kind of like revert some of the nerfs that they had on her before. I mean, I think that Evelynn, even before this buff, was like pretty decent. I mean, not like the best, but she's like good enough to be used in solo queue. Like, there's a guy named like Sunrise, I think, who's like a challenger Evelynn one trick. She literally only plays Evelynn. So these buffs will like push Evelynn kind of back in the meta a bit more, and you'll be seeing her a little bit more. She'll be pretty decent. Fiddlesticks, this is my favorite change of the entire patch. This is the best. is just the best change, dude. Good job, Riot. You brought it back. The Sticks. The Sticks is back. So now his E has pretty much 2-second shorter cooldown at all ranks. And then the bonus damage to monsters is now increased by 50%. And Darkwind no longer deals bonus damage to minions. So the minion thing is actually a buffed nerf, because like when you play support Fiddlesticks, when you E the champion, sometimes the E just like kills the minions and like takes them from your laner, but also that'll like lower his pushing ability in lane. So buff and nerf to support Fiddlesticks, but definitely overall buff to Fiddlesticks, especially on jungle. And then Crowstorm has a much shorter cooldown now at a higher rank. Like I never understood why Crowstorm had a 130-second cooldown. Like you should be able to have it for like every single fight when you're like at level 16, I feel like, because that's when like you pretty much need your flash to do anything anyways, and I don't think you should ever not have your ultimate up in Fiddlesticks like late game. So it's really good that they did this buff. I'll have to test it. I'm going to be testing a lot of his Fiddlesticks' clears on my stream. I used to love Fiddlesticks, so we'll see how these clears are, but I think Fiddlesticks is going to be back in the meta after these changes. Maybe not in competitive because his way of getting vision is hard, but in solo queue, definitely see some Fiddlesticks. They nerfed Calista. W pretty much nerfed her base stats again, and W now gains 25 bonus attack damage when your Storm no longer gives attack speed, and then the E mana refund just got gutted into the asshole in the early ranks. So big nerfs to Calista. Not sure you'll see her as much. Actually, no, you'll still see Calista probably, but only good Calista players. But this is the big thing for me. Her attack range got gutted down by 25. Actually, Calista's dead. She's just dead. They toned down some of the nerfs that they did to Kog'Maw in the last patch, so now instead of being 7% what it was before, down 6%. Kog'Maw's he's just the same Kog'Maw. Like, you just strap a Lulu on him, get out of lane phase, and then you're still just blowing people the fuck up. So, but one thing to note on this change is that they nerfed Wits in for ranged champions. So maybe slight nerf to Kog'Maw too, but Kog'Maw's still gonna be good. He'll be a good champion. And then pretty much just to like summarize all these changes on this whole Rengar page without like reading them all out to you guys, is that this is the old Rengar, the one where like when you queued, instead of like dashing forward, now it does like an auto attack resets and it gives you a bunch of attack speed. Like they want Rengar to be, also Rengar doesn't crit when he like comes in anymore either, so, and instead he just gets like bonus attack damage and like also armor pen. So now Rengar is just like pretty much that old Rengar. This is the Rengar I like to play, this old Rengar. Like I didn't play much Rengar when they reworked him to this last iteration of him. But this Rengar that was on before, this is the Rengar that I like to play. So I'll probably be picking Rengar back up again and playing him again. Just because like I like this Rengar a lot better. And they also like tweaked the battle roar down to like 10 seconds too. So this is gonna be, to me, this is like a much more fun Rengar, and I think that this is like a good direction for Riot to go with the champion. So it's gonna be pretty nice. And then also like his leap range and all that kind of stuff got tweaked out as well. So this will be an interesting Rengar. So Shyvana, they lowered her attack damage growth by a pretty decent amount, 0.6 per level, and they also lowered her twin bite. That's the second proc, not the first hit, by 20%. So that's a decent nerf as well. I actually think Shyvana, depending on the press the attack changes, is a dead champion. Probably still good in lower elos, but I personally don't like Shyvana anymore, and I don't like even in high elo she just gets shit on nowadays. So I think Shyvana's just dead. It's like, why play Shyvana when you can play Skarner? Like, there's just better fast farming jugglers than her now. Even Udyr is better than Shyvana at this point. So she's just dead. If you want to play a fast farming jungler, play Udyr or Skarner. Don't play Shyvana. So Shyvana is just, she's a dead waifu. Swain was released, and of course he has one of the lowest win rates in the game for mages. His mana on his W got changed, which I think is really big. Like, you pretty much never got to use W in lane, or like even to like follow up trades, just because you run out of mana using it. So this is like a nice little change to this. And then the ultimate before felt useless to me, so I'm glad they tweaked it. So now like the ultimate heals sorry, 5 more per target. And then cooldown and soul fragments are fully refunded if Swain dies during the channel time of Demonic Ascension. That's pretty nice. Ultimate hat now properly reduces Demonic Ascension's cooldown. I didn't even know that it had that bug. And then also the health threshold to reactivate is much lower. Like before, I felt like it was like kind of difficult to get the reactivate off all the time on the R. So In the earlier ranks, it's going to be a little bit easier to use it to finish people off. I like that change. And this is just some weird thing. It doesn't do anything. Talon, like, they took 2 armor and gave him 5 MR, so I guess they want Talon to be more of a mid laner than a top laner. There's some people who play top lane Talon and they just like roam all over the place. So this is, I guess, is to push Talon back into the mid lane and take him away from top lane, in my opinion. Tristana, she has 20-second longer cooldown in the earlier ranks on her ultimate. Good. Tristana's broken as fuck. Get her out of here. Twitch, they nerfed his E, the base damage, by 40, and then the per stack looks to be pretty much the same. So, I mean, that's like an okay nerf, but I mean, you make it to late game Twitch and you get IE Hurricane, you're still just like insta killing everybody and he's just broken as hell. So Twitch is the same champion to me where he just gets shit on in lane by everybody. But once you get him out of lane phase and you get him 1 or 2 items, he just takes over the game and just kills everybody. He's impossible to deal with. So exact same champion to me. Like, and then I love the reasoning. Like, Twitch is one of the strongest press the attack users, despite it actually being the room most players. Well, wait, hold on a sec. Where is this press the attack Twitch, dude? Have you guys ever seen a press the attack Twitch? What? Oh, here's one. I don't even know who that guy is. What? Oh, here's one. Sven! This is why TSM's not winning anymore, boys. Press the attack Twitch. And we got BRT. There's like not that many people up in the press the attack, if you feel me, dude. No, they said despite it not being actually the rune most players take on him. See? This is most players. But no players take this shit, dude. No players. Alright, anyways. Volibear, they buffed his Q movement speed a little bit. Big whoop. When Volibear changes directions from towards champions to any other direction, his bonus movement speed now decays over 1 second rather than falling off immediately. That's a nice change, because I hate that change when you're like trying to like weave in and out and dodge shit. Like, you basically when you play Volibear before, you literally just had to run straight into them like an idiot. Like, even if you had Predator, you just like lose your movement speed, and then you're just like, well, fuck, Volibear sucks. So like now you can actually like juke and weave and shit like that with Volibear, so that's alright. And then now Frenzy cooldown is half when he's no minions. It's not that big a deal. Like, who plays lane Volibear? Slightly knocks back enemies, the Majestic Roar. Enemies who are dashing or airborne before Roar is cast are dealt 120 additional magic damage. So you can like throw them up in the air, I guess, and then eat them. Does that work? I don't know if that works, but seems aight. Like, this is more damage. And you knock back enemies too, so that's pretty cool. That's aight. You know, that's something. Volibear's got stuff. You know. Cool. Good for you, Volibear. They pretty much... I think Xin's dead now with these changes. They, like, cut his W down by, like, 35%. Or not the W, the passive. And then the W, like, battle cast time thing is, like, weird. And then... I don't know. I already didn't like Xin that much on the new patch. Like, he's a very feast or famine champion. He's, like... Xin, to me, is, like, a ghetto Lee Sin. Where it's, like, if you don't snowball early, you're just useless. So... I don't know. I wasn't really a fan of Xin, even on the last patch, so it's like kind of weird to see this big of a nerf on Xin Zhao, or Xin Zhao. So I think Xin is like probably still good in lower elos and stuff, but honestly, I just don't see any reason to pick him over other champions at this point. Zed now has a 60-second cooldown on his ultimate, so you can pretty much just ult people all the damn time when you're max rank. So sure, whatever. Like, that's an okay buff. Not bad. Doesn't really change that much, to be honest, so. Zoe, they pretty much just gutted the living shit out of her. They nerfed Zoe in literally every single aspect of the champion. The Q, the W, the E, the health. I mean, they buffed her health, actually, and they buffed her base attack, but they pretty much nerfed all of her abilities. Like, everything got nerfed, dude. All over the damn place. So. Although the passive got buffed, actually. I take that back. A Whopper Rooney, 0.1 ability power, and 2 damage at level 3. Good riddance, Zoe. Get out of here. Get out of here, Zoe. I don't like you. She's gone. And then extra damage to minions. You no longer deal 5 bonus damage to lane minions, so it's going to be a little bit harder to last hit. Now, like, even when I play ADC or, like, other lanes, I'm, like, last hitting everything for the most part. I'm like, damn, I'm so good at last hitting. But no, it's actually just because everything's so overtuned and everybody just does, like, high... last hitting damage, so boo-hoo. I can't last hit anymore. Ancient Coin movement speed now is +5, and then Nomads is +10, and then Reminisce is +10. So this will make Coin a little bit better. I think people will start maybe like go down Coin a little bit. I think people with the Targans nerf will go like Coin Alistar and things like that, and maybe like Coin Thresh, you know, for the movement speed. So I could see Coin like making a resurgence with this, just because mainly they nerf Relic Shield by 25, and then they nerf the health on this by 50, and then this is a huge nerf. A 150 nerf on Remnant of the Aspect, like that's a big nerf. So I think that probably start to see people move away from Targans a little bit and move back towards like Ancient Coin on champions that could go that. And then Tracker's Knife is gone. I don't really think this is a big change to solo queue, because like I've tried both Tracker's Knife and Red Smite, Blue Smite, or whatever. Like I'll play even on like my like higher elo accounts or whatever, like Master Challenger and stuff. Like you put down wards, unless you're playing in like really high level, like high challenger. Most of the time you put down wards and ping, people still fight and they still die like idiots, and they just don't pay attention to, like, wards are basically just useless in lower elo. And like the majority, what is it, like 75-80% of the people who play the game are like bronze or silver or something like that, according to statistics. So I don't think the general population is going to be like, oh my god, my wards on jungle are gone. This ruins everything. This is mainly a nerf targeted at competitive jungling, where basically junglers get Tracker's Knife on their first back, and then they just walk into the enemy jungle and just put down all these wards, and then they just rinse and repeat that over and over again, and nobody can do anything. There's just a billion wards on the map, and there's like zombie ward and all this other stupid stuff. So it's yeah, so this to me is going to make jungling a lot more proximity based, where junglers have to get up in there and like invade and stuff. And I also think a lot of junglers won't be going improved sweeper either. So I think a lot of yellow trinkets are going to have to come out from junglers, and the sweepers are going to have to come out for the laners as you go later into the game. So I think that there's going to be a lot more fighting involved in the jungle in competitive now, and maybe less tank jungles overall just because of this change. And a lot more like ganking junglers and things like that. And I think that a lot of the bad junglers and stuff that were kind of like making do in competitive just by like vision tracking and things like that are going to get the beat down by people who are like actually mechanically good and stuff like that. So I could definitely see like players like Svenskeren or even like Mike Young showing up with this nerf and like beating down like some people that are just like walking around putting down wards doing nothing. So this will be an interesting change. What's in now costs 100 gold less, and also has two more on hit damage. So bad. Oh, wow, so good. Not really. Magic Resist Stolen is also one higher on melee champions now. So, or if you're melee using it, I don't think any melee champions ever use this item. So I can't think of the last melee champion that's ever built what's in. So nobody's gonna build this item, and this is just a slight nerf to like Varus and Kog'Maw and things like that. So and then also they changed precision. Warwick because Warwick never uses this item. No decent player goes. Warwick and Xin do not use Wits End, dude. Nobody goes Wits End, dude. Nobody does. Like, where's the Wits End here? We see a Wits End in here? Where is it at? I don't see any Wits End, dude. We see a Wits End in here? I don't see no Wits End. I don't see it anywhere, dude. Where's it at? Nobody builds this junk, dude. Alright, anyways, precision got changed now to pretty much, like before, if you go precision in another tree, you get the full 18% attack speed. Now you get attack speed AD, or you know, attack speed ability power, whatever. So now it's like, I think this change is mainly aimed at if you go ADC and you go precision, and it's gonna help you last hit, because you remember like they took away 5 damage on auto attacking minions, and I think that's the main purpose of this change, is to help you auto attack minions. Also, the Keystone for press the attack got changed, where it's 8% lower or in the earlier game, but slightly higher base damage. So I think that this is an overall nerf to press the attack. I mean, actually not slightly higher, decently higher, like 10 up to 40 damage increase. So this is like a buff nerf. I don't know. Weaker in the early game, in my opinion, but stronger in the later game. To be honest, like, press the attack's still the same thing as it was before. Not that much of a difference. Resolve now. They added this interesting thing called bone plating. So after taking damage from an enemy champion, their next 3 spells or attacks against you deal 20 or 50 less damage. I wonder if that works against DOTs and stuff. Pretty interesting little ability. I think that's decent. Like, some people will take that. I think it's not bad. Because to be honest, like, the first part of that tree was always kind of sucked anyways. So I actually think most people will take bone plating in most situations in the first part of the tree. Just because Font of Life and Demolisher is not really that good. Maybe you'll take Demolish in some tank matchups, but bone plating is really not like... I think bone plating is going to, like, be better. Like, Font of Life and Demolish kind of suck, to be honest. Resistance, there are 4 runes in the row now. Conditioning, Mirror Shell, Iron Skin, and Second Wind. I think most people in lane will take Second Wind, and then most junglers will take Conditioning if they're on this tree. Sorry, I have hiccups. And then Vitality, now they moved Unflinching down into that, and they removed Second Wind. I think in most cases people will probably go... Actually, depending on the champion, you can go any of these. I think all these are just kind of meh. Like, they don't really do that much anyways, so... It's just interesting little tweaks to that tree. And then Inspiration, they pretty much just, like, dumpstered this tree into the ground. Now, like, Stopwatch is a 10-second cooldown. That's so high. And then also, yeah, nobody's going to go Stopwatch anymore. That's 10 minutes is, like, insane. Like, that's such a long timer on it. And then your potions and elixirs and biscuits now last 20% longer. But if you get that time warp mastery thing, so I don't know. And they make you run 5% faster. I don't really think that many people are going to go Inspiration anymore on this tree, so... And see you later, man. And now this is actually a very huge change to this patch. So now these like plants, so like let's say I'm jungling a red side, I start down here, I'll blast plant over and just like come gank through here. So if you warded here as a top laner, or if like the mid laner warded here, like you have no way of like preventing this vision. So like, or let's say that you're you're on blue side or whatever, and or let's say like the jungler comes from here and like jumps over here. Like there's so many different gank routes and stuff like that you can do. Like I could even be like on blue side and like let's say you're bottom and you warded here and here. I could come for like blast plant over here and then blast plant over here and then like come ganky from behind and you're still dead. Like there's so many different gank routes that like you can get in the early game that are so hard to ward against. So this is actually gonna be a pretty big nerf to early jungling as far as like some of the gank options you have available to you. So I think this is gonna make people have to be a little bit smarter in their pathing, and also like this is gonna I feel like this is gonna promote lane ganks a little bit more. I think that like in the earlier seasons before they put blast plants in the game, like people just lane ganked a lot. So I think that lane ganking is gonna come back again. You know, people sitting in the bushes and things like that and being patient. So I think you're gonna see that a little bit more now with the blast plants being gone. Ancientrogs, this is actually a pretty good change. This is like a buff to like Kindred jungle, Twitch jungle, things like that. Ancientrogs no longer take reduced damage from range attacks. Pretty nice. And also that means that like the duo can do Krugs sometimes. It's like they have some free time and they just need to get some gold. They couldn't do that before. Hand of Baron, bonus stats, 24 attack damage and 40 ability power. Oh yeah, pretty much the general theme on this is that they buffed the living shit out of Baron buff. And they made siege caster minions do like crazy shit. So like Baron actually does stuff. You know, no longer like you're gonna get 3 Barons in a game and be like, well, we still can't end this damn game. And then also like Elder got buffed pretty heavily. And then like if you get the second Elder, it's like super buffed. So like they just don't want games going on as long as they are. Is the main general consensus of these Baron and Elder with Dragon buffs. So I think this is like definitely the right direction. Like you should be able to end the game if you get Elder or Baron. Like that's just how it is. So this is actually like good changes to here. And that's